Hi, Eric Lanask here. We are at ITEXPO in Miami, Florida. And on the program with me today is John Hoadley from Taqua. John, thanks for joining me.
Glad to be here.
So let's talk voice. Specifically, let's talk voice over Wi-Fi. I know something that Taqua's been involved in for some time and having discussions about. But you mentioned earlier, off the air, if you will, that there's a lot more interest, a lot more activity around voice over Wi-Fi these days. And to what do you attribute that? That maturation?
Well, a couple things. In 2014, two big events happened. Some of the lead carriers in the U.S., T-Mobile and Sprint, launched voice over Wi-Fi services. And then also Apple. Apple embedded a Wi-Fi calling client in the iPhone. And so when that happens, everyone kind of sits up in the mobile industry and takes notice of this new technology and what the benefits are and how it can help carriers and subscribers.
From the subscriber perspective, is there any noticeable difference between their traditional calling versus calling via Wi-Fi?
Yeah, so a couple points there. First, using Wi-Fi, you're actually often much closer to the radio than you are a cellular tower. So you don't have to interfere with all the attenuation that the cellular signal will have with the walls of the building, kind of cubicles, brick. All of those things kind of go away in that you're using the Wi-Fi coverage in your home or your business. So that's a huge advantage with Wi-Fi from a subscriber perspective. The other thing with what we've done for the carriers is we've fully integrated into their existing user experience. So it uses the native dialer. A user really doesn't know, except for a few little icons on the phone, that they're making a call over voice over Wi-Fi or receiving one over voice over Wi-Fi or sending a text, either making or receiving that. There's a little icon on the phone that says you're on Wi-Fi, but for the most part, the user experience is exactly the same. It's the same call logs, the same voicemail, the same native dialer. So from a user's perspective, it's the exact same experience of what you'd expect when you made a call over cellular.
And frankly, that's exactly what the user wants to experience. They don't want to have any difference one way or the other.
Yeah, and you hear quite a bit about voice over Wi-Fi, and people talk about different types of things. And there's a lot of potential types of services. Some are just Wi-Fi only, but we provide kind of an integration between Wi-Fi and cellular. So when the phone's in Wi-Fi and Wi-Fi is the best signal, you're registered, and you're receiving your calls and making them over Wi-Fi. But when you go out into cellular and you don't have Wi-Fi signal anymore, you're making your calls and receiving them exactly the same over cellular. The other different thing is that there's a lot of the over-the-top applications for Wi-Fi. So Skype, various different types of clients out there. But you have usually a very limited calling group. You can only call other members of Skype.
Right.
And then you have a separate dialer, you have a separate call log, separate messages, and that's often a bit of a challenge for the user. So integrating it with their existing native dialer is kind of one of the key things that we've seen subscribers like and the carriers like as well.
Well, absolutely. It makes it much easier to use. Now, what about a situation where you're going from the home or the office into your car, and you've got this kind of handoff situation between a Wi-Fi and a cellular network? Yeah,
so that's a really good point, Eric. So that's one thing we spent a lot of time working on, really being able to do handouts. So when a user starts a call in Wi-Fi, let's say they're in their office or in their home, and they walk out the door, they're going to lose their Wi-Fi signal. So being able to make a handout to a 2G, 3G cellular network, which is the most popular way to make your calls right now, or to a VoLTE network, is something that we've that we worked on and we're trialing, and is a technology that we think is essential for certainly a lot of the carriers. Some of the early Wi-Fi services, voice over Wi-Fi, don't have that capability today, but that's something that is being introduced.
What does this the voice over Wi-Fi mean for as far as opportunity for operators other than the traditional telecom carriers, cable operators, for instance, who've got their own Wi-Fi networks.
Yeah, the whole broadband community.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So, I don't think we quite know yet. I think a lot of people are trying to experiment and think about it. You've probably seen some stuff on Wi-Fi First.
Mm-hmm.
That there are these huge Wi-Fi networks out there. Think of the MSOs. They put 2 SSIDs in every cable box that they ship. So you've got kind of a common SSID. So if you go to your friend's house and they happen to be a Charter subscriber as well as you could get onto their Wi-Fi into their network as well, and you could transfer data, or you could do voice over Wi-Fi. So, massive amounts of broadband networks, and the users are all using Wi-Fi. So, it's a huge asset that they could bring to the table. Now, I personally think that us as users aren't always going to be living in Wi-Fi. You have to also go to cellular.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you make that transition? How do you make business partnerships work? How do you do the handoffs? All those things are things that, I think the industry is trying to sort out. But I do think there is an opportunity, knowing that, the average subscriber probably spends 40, 50, 60% of their time in Wi-Fi coverage. So that can be time, right now users are already offloading a tremendous amount of their data over smartphones onto the Wi-Fi broadband network. Why not do voice as well and make a full, complete service if you're a broadband provider like an MSO?
Excellent, and certainly that opportunity is going to increase as Wi-Fi networks are even further built out, and Wi-Fi coverage comes closer to becoming ubiquitous.
Yeah, Wi-Fi. The number of Wi-Fi access points that are shipped a year. Some people track them. I'm not sure there's a great number out there. We've seen numbers of 130 million or so get shipped each year.
Wow.
That installed base is something like 500 million. I was on a panel here at the show, and the other person on the panel was talking about virtually every smartphone in the world, of course, has Wi-Fi built into
Mm-hmm.
it, and that the installed base they estimate is around 4 billion phones with Wi-Fi. So it's there. Users are using it, and it's an incredible network. Now, it's never going to be completely ubiquitous. So you've always got to have a link with cellular, just because of its physics and nature. Mm-hmm. I mean, Wi-Fi access points, the coverage area at 5.8 gigahertz, and the power levels is quite small. But the coverage is increasing every year. So the two working well together is something that we stress.
Excellent. Well, good luck. We look forward to seeing more. And thank you for being here with us at ITEXPO.
Thanks.